Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to 5 Minutes of Torah with the Beth Israel Rabbi. This coming Shabbat, we read Parshat Toldot. Yitzchak, like in the previous Parsha, is a major character in this Torah portion. Isaac, or Yitzchak, is an interesting character within the Torah. Considering the fact that he is one of the forefathers and one of the heroes of the Jewish people, he plays a rather passive role in the stories in which we find him. In the Akedah and the binding of Isaac, the rabbis even wonder, was Isaac old enough to be able to protest against his father when his father Abraham was willing to sacrifice him, and in fact even took him to the spot to be sacrificed after God had asked him to do so? And in this week's Torah portion, when Isaac's son, Yaakov, or Jacob, tricks him by dressing up as his brother Esau, thus having Isaac give Jacob the blessing that was intended for Esau, the rabbis wonder, when the Torah tells us that Isaac was blind, had visual impairments, whether or not he was blind from a young age, or if those challenges only came with age. And in fact, in the modern period, some have wondered out loud, does Isaac have more challenges than just not being able to see? It's an interesting question, and actually leads us to be able to understand the humanity of Isaac in a deeper way. This coming Wednesday, I am going to have the opportunity to interview, as part of my Zoom and Learn series, Kalman Samuels, who grew up here in Vancouver, actually is Carrie Samuels, but then made Aliyah, moved to Israel, married, and had a number of children. One of his children, a young man named Yossi, unfortunately, after just months after his birth, was given a vaccine that caused significant issues, including hearing and seeing impairments. Essentially left blind and deaf, Yossi's life was radically changed forever. Because of what they went through, Kalman and his wife created an organization called Shalva that is extremely important and extremely successful in helping people throughout Jerusalem and beyond with challenges, physical challenges, and other challenges. And not only them, but their families as well. This is a very impressive organization that Kalman has created. I recently read Kalman's memoir. And Kalman, who is an expert in computers, an expert in creating organizations, and also a rabbi, tells the story about his son Yossi, who asks his father when he's a child whether or not God is deaf, or at least if God wears hearing aids. And Kalman says in his book that it's important that we all see God in our own image. In Bereshit, we read that we are created b'tselem Elokim, that we are created in God's image. This is an interesting theological spin on that idea. When we see ourselves created in God's image, and when we understand that others are seeing God as created in their own image, existing in their own image, then we understand the humanity of other people, and we are able to act with compassion the way God is able to. I want to encourage us all to learn from Kalman, from this idea, and to extend compassion to other human beings, and to please join me on Wednesday at 12 o'clock, while we have the opportunity to learn from Kalman and hear about his incredible work at Shalva. Shabbat Shalom.